Hey folks, I have a question for you. Which one do you think is better? Is it better to trade stocks? Is it better to trade options? Which one's right? Maybe it's both. Check it out. We're going to figure it out in this video. Here we go. Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Whaley here from Trade Maestro. You can check us out over at trademaestro.com. And in this video, I'm answering a very common question we get. In fact, I get this question probably 3 times a week. And the question is, should I trade stocks or should I trade options? And maybe we should trade both. What do you think? Which one's better? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Which one's better? Or is there a better one? What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts on stocks and options. And specifically, I'm going to share with you some of the pros of trading stocks, some of the pros of trading options. And maybe you'll decide by the end of it that we should actually trade both. I don't know. But here's my first answer. When somebody asks me, should I trade stocks or options? My answer is yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You should trade stocks or options or both. Or Forex, or futures, or crypto, whatever. Yeah, just trade. Yeah, why not? All right, so seriously, let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits of trading stock. The first thing, and maybe the most obvious reason that people trade stock, is it's just known. I mean, it's a known thing. It's pretty easy to understand. You understand the idea. Most people understand the idea of owning part of a company. And as the value goes up, you can make a profit. And as value goes down, you lose money. It's just kind of straightforward. People tend to understand that. And so if there's no other reason to trade stock, it's the fact that it's simple and relatively well known. It's pretty easy. So that's the first benefit of trading stock. Second benefit of trading stock is, like I just said, it's easy, it's straightforward. There's not a lot of moving parts. I mean, it's just kind of you pick a trade and you buy it, and either you make money or you don't make money, but there's not a whole lot of other things to go along with it. In addition to that, kind of like I just alluded to, there's no time decay issue. Whenever you start trading options, you deal with time decay, which is a very complex subject for a lot of people. And so if you're afraid of some of those moving parts that happen with options, maybe stock trading is going to be a better solution for you. Another benefit of trading stock is you actually own something. A lot of people, they like this idea of saying, hey, I own part of, and then, whatever the company is that you're trading there. So they have this idea that, if you own something, then maybe it's got a little bit more value to it. Maybe it's a little more substantial. And, maybe another reason is people want to hold on to it forever. For whatever reason, honestly, I don't know why, but a lot of people, they like this idea of buying some stock and then gifting that stock to a family member and then passing it down to another family member. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of that. I think if you're going to buy a stock, you should buy it with an expectation of selling it and making a profit. Why buy a stock and then just keep passing it from family member to family member? I really don't know. But a lot of people like that. They like the idea that they own something. And so if that's you, if you like the idea of owning something, then maybe you should be trading stock. Another benefit is dividends. Dividends are a potential benefit of trading stock. Now, not all stocks pay dividends, but if you're into receiving dividends, then certainly stock trading is going to be better for you. All right. So that is just a few of the benefits. Those are just a few of the benefits of trading stock. And if that rings true for you, then perhaps trading stock is more up your alley. But let's talk about some of the drawdowns of trading stock, because it's not all fun and games. First of all, the cost, just flat out. Whenever you trade stock, it's going to cost more, and it's going to cost more because you have to put up all the money for the shares that you're trading. Now, you can have a little bit of leverage if you use margin, but outside of using margin, there's no leverage in trading a stock. And so, if you want to buy a $100 stock and you want to buy 100 shares of it, you got to put up all that money for it. You got to put up all of it. And it's that simple. So, the cost is more. There's no leverage involved in trading stock. There's less flexible strategies. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, you buy the stock and either it goes up or it doesn't. And that's it. I mean, that's it. There's really not a whole lot of flexibility to it other than that. And so people have come up with strategies like dollar cost average and all these other crazy stuff, but that's really not a good strategy. So whenever you think about stock itself, pretty straightforward. Just buy and sell. Now let's compare that with options. Whenever we trade options, it's kind of the opposite. It's the other side of the coin. Instead of, being so known, it's a little bit lesser known, but you get all this leverage instead of being just, you got to put all the money up. You get all this leverage with options. And that's really the biggest reason I think people are drawn to trading options. They want that extra leverage that comes along with trading options. So you get control of something without putting up maybe as much of the money. A second reason is you actually can lower your risk. Since you're not putting as much money on the table for your trade, whenever you trade options, you're actually lowering risk. You also get a greater return on your investment. If you have less money at work and you make bigger profit for the money you have at work, it's a better ROI. It seems very efficient to me, right? Of course, that's what leverage is. Very flexible strategies. Whenever we trade options, there's all sorts of strategies that we can work with. And so that's another thing that draws people to options. And another thing that people really like about options is you can actually make money when the stock is not moving. So the stock can stagnate. Like right now, we're dealing with several stocks that are just kind of stuck in the market. They're just not really going higher, not really going lower. Can't really make money if you buy the stock and it doesn't go anywhere, right? But if you're using options, you actually can. So that's another reason that people are drawn to trading options. And then finally, maybe for some people, it's an ego thing. I don't know. You can say, I trade options. Yay, I'm an options trader. So for some people, maybe that's the reason that you want to learn how to trade options. Really doesn't matter. The truth is there's benefits to trading stocks. There's benefits to trading options. And a lot of it just has to do with who you are. But let's talk about some of the drawdowns. Whenever you trade options, there are some sticking points. And this is probably more than anything else, this is the thing that people are afraid of when it comes to options. And that is the drawdowns of options. Specifically, they're more complicated. Stock is pretty straightforward. You buy the stock, it either goes up or it doesn't go up. With options, you can buy it, the stock can go up, and the option goes the other direction. You're like, what happened here? So there's more complicated. It's just there's a lot of moving parts to the options. It consequently requires more education. If you don't know what you're doing with options, absolutely, you really should not trade options. If you're sitting here saying, hey, I want to trade options, but you know nothing about options, absolutely do not trade options. It's the worst thing in the world that you could possibly do because, you probably are going to lose all your money. But, if you get the education, then the coin flips the other direction. There's a philosophy in the stock market of kind of setting it and forgetting it. A lot of people think that whenever you buy a stock, you can just buy it and hold it and, you come back in 30 years and it's worth millions of dollars. If you do that in the world of options, you're going to be toast. You cannot set it and forget it. You got to pay attention to the details. You're going to have to monitor it. You're going to have to know what to do with it. You have a plan going into it. It's a much more aggressive form of trading, but it's more practical because the truth is if every stock trader would, approach their stock trades the way that options traders and more professional traders have to approach their trades, well, more everyday stock traders would make more money. So, the drawdown, if you can't set it and forget it, is actually one of the benefits of it as well because it forces you to pay more attention. But anyway, that is a drawdown to some people. If you're that guy, if you're the girl who likes to, just buy some stuff and come back later and see if it worked, options are not going to be a good solution for you. There's another drawdown, and that is you can't use it in all of your accounts. Sometimes retirement accounts will not allow you to use options. Just depends on the type of account that you have. So depending on where you trade your option or where you're trading in general, maybe inside of an employment account like a 401k or something, you may or may not be able to use options. So that could be a drawdown. And here's the bottom line. If you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a lot of money with options trading. Now, the same is true with stock. That's the reality. You can lose a ton of money trading stocks. But you can definitely lose it faster maybe trading options. So the punchline here is you got to know what you're doing. You got to educate yourself. You got to learn how options work and then apply it in the right scenario. So let's talk a little bit about application here. When is the right time to use stock? Well, first of all, this is my opinion. Okay, that's the first thing you need to know. This is my opinion. There's not a right or a wrong. But in my opinion, if the trade is less than $25 a share, I generally will buy the stock as opposed to the option. It's a cheaper stock, less than $25 a share. It's, when you're dealing with those kind of numbers, why take on the extra complexity of options if you can get the same trade with the stock? So it's just, in my opinion, if it's cheaper, less expensive stock, I will tend to trade the stock over the option. If you're in an account that requires stock trading, that's a time when you should use stock. If you're day trading, then you probably want to trade stock. And I put usually because the reality is you can day trade options, but there's benefits to day trading stock. And let me hit on that really fast. When you day trade stock, if you have a regular day trading account, you can actually have 4-to-1 leverage. So let's say you have $100,000 in your day trading account. You can actually have $400,000. That's 4-to-1 leverage. $400,000 of buying power. So you can go out and actually buy $400,000 worth of stock in one day, as long as you close it out and it's part of a day trade. So there's benefits. You get some extra leverage whenever you're day trading stock. You also have better liquidity. I don't have time to get into liquidity issues right now with options, but sometimes options, there's not as many people trading them, so it's harder to buy and sell as quickly as you want to. So sometimes you get better liquidity with trading the stock, and that would be a benefit whenever it comes to day trading. So, if you're day trading and that's the style of trading that you want to do, then it's probably better to stick with stock. If you're part of a larger strategy, if you're using it as part of a larger strategy that requires a stock position, for example, a strategy we call a covered call, that would be a time you need to own some stock because it's part of the strategy. You got to use it, right? So these are just some reasons when you want to use covered calls. When you want to own it, that's another reason. Is, hey, this is a stock I want to own. In fact, I just finished a class with somebody, and somebody was talking about a company that's got a long-term perspective that they're excited about, and he said, hey, I just want to own this thing. I said, well, good, go buy the stock. That's exactly what you need to do because you want to own it. So these are some times when it would be advantageous to buy the stock as opposed to buying the option. What about the option? When should we use the options? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Here's when we should use options: on expensive stocks. Specifically, if the stock is over $200, it's very rare that I would ever buy a stock more than $200 a share. So I know there's a kind of a wide gap there. I said if it's below $25, I almost always would buy the stock. If it's over $200, I would pretty much never buy the stock. I'd buy the option. Why? Because the option provides so much more leverage. That's why. Why would you feel like you have to, let's say you want to buy 1,000 shares. Why put $200,000 on a trade when you could get control of the same 1,000 shares for maybe $2,000 or maybe $3,000? So there's so much more capital at play when you're trading stock. And if you're trading the more expensive stocks, then it just makes more sense to buy the option. So that's why. Second reason you would want to use options, or second time when we're answering the when question, not the reason, when you want the leverage. You got expensive stock, you want the extra leverage, or it's a cheaper stock. Maybe it's a $50 stock, but you want the extra leverage. That's a great time to use the option. If you have some needs for some strategic flexibility, what do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of option strategies where we can take a position and maybe it starts off in one way and then it moves, and rather than just closing the whole trade, you might make an adjustment to it. And so you can do that when you're trading options in ways that you really can't do it when you're trading stocks. So just a lot of strategic flexibility that comes into play when you're working with options. Bear markets, probably the best time. I mean, the time that almost everybody should use an option as opposed to stock is in a bear market. Now, that's not always necessarily the black and white answer. I'm not opposed to short selling, but it's a lot more practical to buy puts in a bear market than it is to sell short. That's just it. So if you're a stock trader and you're like, hey, it's a bear market, I want to take advantage of downside, I would not recommend most people to think about selling stock short. If you're day trading, shorting is going to be more practical, but for like a longer term swing trade, longer term trading position, if you want to take advantage of a bear market, do it with options, and specifically do it by buying puts or doing one of the more aggressive, or I should say advanced bear market option strategies, right? Another reason or another time to use options is when the market's sideways. Sideways market, it's kind of neutral. It's not really going up, not really going down. You need some strategies that'll make some profit then. There's some strategies with options that you can actually make 8 or 9 times the money you put at risk if the stock doesn't move. Yeah, think about that. You only have to win 1 out of every 8 to like totally cash in on that kind of a risk and reward. So there's a couple option strategies that are just so aggressive and so profitable when the stock doesn't move. But you buy the stock, yeah, you're not going to make money on that. So just again, it's all about the practical application. And then maybe my favorite. Now, full disclosure, I am an options trader. I almost exclusively trade options, but I trade options for trend trades. I trade options in place of stock. I trade options, period. So just be very clear on that. But for other traders who like to, look at a little bit longer term perspective, one of the biggest reasons they like to add options in is this last reason, to create ongoing income. And the way we do that is through selling options. We can sell option and receive all that option premium. That's a huge benefit. I mean, you can't get that with stock. And man, if you're wanting to do that, if you're wanting to create like weekly or monthly cash flow from your stock trades, the only way to do that is with options. And so that's why you would want to learn how to trade options, right? Now, ultimately, you need to do whatever you're comfortable with. That is the key. I mean, the overarching key to all this is, what do you want? What makes you happy? I don't care. I mean, I don't care if you trade stock. I don't care if you trade options. I don't care if you buy long options. I don't care if you sell advanced butterflies or anything else. I just don't care. I mean, I don't have a dog in this fight for your trading account, but you do. It's all about you. What are you most comfortable with? And, what I tell people is start simple. Start with, if you've never traded before, start buying stock and, learn how to pick a winning trade. Learn how to, determine if the stock's going up, if the stock's going down, when you should get in, when you should get out. Start simple. Start with virtual money. Start, with paper trading. There's no reason to risk your life savings for something that you're learning. That's ridiculous. Okay, so start there and then start adding options in. And, your journey of learning to trade it's not a short journey. I mean, you're going to be doing this the rest of your life. So don't try to, have 20 years of experience in the next 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. You're not going to be able to do that. So, start small, start with buying stock, and then start learning about options, start adding that in. And then, like I say, as you develop and you evolve as a trader, you can, add some of these more aggressive strategies with options and whatnot. All right. So would you like to learn some more? Well, if you'd like to learn some more, I'd love to teach you some more. All you need to do is visit me over at Trade Maestro. This is where I teach all of my trading systems and strategies and everything that we do. You can find us over at trademaestro.com if you have not been there. And I tell you what's really exciting. You want to know what's really exciting? What's really exciting is my Pick Winning Stocks Challenge. I would love to have you join me for the Pick Winning Stocks Challenge. Where is it? There it is right there. Pick Winning Stocks Challenge. This is a 21-day challenge where you're going to learn how to pick your trades, do better analysis, where you're going to learn to do strategy. You're going to learn how to do your trading plans, work with indicators, lower your trading risk, and ultimately make money. That's what everybody wants to do, right? It's a 21-day challenge. In 21 days, you have it all done. And I would love to have you join me for this challenge. All you need to do is go to the website over at trademaestro.com. Get yourself enrolled with it. It's very low commitment, but very, very advantageous in terms of the benefits. And hey, if you're not connected with me, please do so. Connect right here, wherever you're watching this video. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, go ahead, subscribe, friend it, like it, whatever you need to do so that you can get alerted whenever I send out new videos. And if you can't find me on one of these social outlets, then I post all these videos up on my blog at trademaestro.com as well. So you can just find it there. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching this. I hope this was beneficial for you. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Until then, happy trading.